Forget the Swiss, this Korean dress watch might just beat them both on value and design. Sounds impossible, right? But after a full week on the wrist, I've got to say it's not what I expected. I mean, let's be real, most Swiss brands are charging you thousands for the name on the dial, but this might actually offer the same experience, but for half the price, and right now it's even cheaper than that. I will say, however, there are one or two pretty big issues that may impact if you would want to buy one, but we'll get onto that later. Without wasting any more of your time though, let's move on to the specifications and the everyday details. Starting off with the fact it houses a Swiss-made SW261, basically a sub-seconds version of the SW200 at 4Hz, a 38-hour power reserve, 31 joules, and I tested this particular one to around plus 8 seconds a day, so probably a top grade or Elabor, but definitely not Kosk. Moving on from the movement, you're also getting a 100 meter water resistance, a sapphire crystal with decent AR coating, a fully polished case, a screw down case back, and both a quality leather strap and a well finished bracelet. The dial itself, gorgeous enamel with embossed Breguet numerals and thermally blued faceted alpha hands. Classic, but sharp enough to wear as a daily on the bracelet. All round, this Pietzmann P1 offers a very versatile, very classic design that can be dressed down on bracelet or dressed up on leather. And this watch comes in at a price of $800, half the price of what a Swiss watch of equal quality and specs would cost you. Now, I thought at 39mm in diameter, the watch would wear too big as a dress watch for me, as usually I like my dress watches to be about 36-37, but luckily it does actually fit quite well, although it is definitely on my upper limits when it comes to dress watches. On bracelet though, it's a different story, because it's a proper daily and wears just right. It's 11.6mm thick, including the crystal, 10mm without, and the 47mm lug-to-lug helps it sit flat. Bonus points for that 20mm lug width, as that gives very many easy strap options. Now, looking at the finishing, I'll say this. The finishing is impressive, just not expressive. No brushing, no texture shifts, no lovely transition between brushing and polishing or sandblasting. No, it's just fully polished, which though nice, is a little bland to me. Though for versatility's sake, and depending on who you ask, that might actually be a good thing. Looking at the bracelet, however, the finishing is on much better display, with some nice brushed outer links on either side of the polished inner link. The clasp is basic, just a folded clasp and with your average micro adjustment system, with the strap buckle also being your basic system too. Now let's compare to Swiss brands, because this is where it gets pretty wild. The SW261 is a sub-seconds variation of the SW200. If you didn't know, the SW200 is an equal quality clone to something called the ETA 2824-2. Now this is the same base movement you'll find in the 4K Louis Arad x Alain Sebastian collab, Baume Mercier, SW200, Oris, same. Even Longines and Tudor use ETA based calibers in this tier. And this Pietzmann, it's $800, man. That's half or less than the watch brands I mentioned before in this category, and it's not just the movement either. The overall specs are just as good, the finishing is almost competitive with them, and if you ask me, the design is just as good. As for the brand history, Pietzmann's young, founded in 2021 out of Seoul in Korea. This was actually their first watch, the P1, and they followed it with the P2, the P3 and the Overture, all very strong. It is only very early days from the brand, but they've made a very strong first impression on me, and I look forward to seeing more from them in the future and eventually seeing what sort of brand they turn into. As for extra and surprise value, it comes with a nice travel case, both a strap and a bracelet in the box, and a quick release system on the strap. And thanks to the 20mm lug width, you can use the strap with lots of other watches. I've actually personally been using it on my Zelos Nova 2, as it suits that piece perfectly to me and it is a genuinely incredible quality leather strap. It just goes with so much. Now let's talk about those issues I mentioned at the beginning. First, the all polished case. Again, it's well done, but it lacks contrast to me. I think a brushed chamfer or even a mid case that's brushed would really benefit the watch to me and just make it stand out a lot more. Second is the bracelet. And this isn't the finishing of the bracelet or the comfortability, it's just that there are no quick release systems and there's also no tool-free micro adjustments. You'll need a paperclip to resize it, and that spring bar when trying to adjust it, I mean, it's a blimmin' flight risk for aeroplanes in the local area because every damn time the spring bar flies to the moon and back. I'd love to see something like Zelos's toolless micro adjustment system here, because you don't have to worry about the spring bars flying off into the moon. You can do it on the go, it's really easy, it's really comfortable, it's just an all-round better system. Also, there is no screw down crown. And even though it's not a huge issue, because generally this is a more dressy watch, not really going to wear it to the beach, the fact that it's all sapphire crystal, the fact that it has 100 meters of water resistance, just adding that small detail of a screw down crown would at least allow it to have the actual option to submerge it in water and maybe even go for a swim in it. Overall, however, the verdict on this watch is very overly positive. This piece offers great specs and a dial and hands that are just to die for, along with a nice travel case, both a great bracelet and a great strap, a really good movement, and all at a really low price. It's also good to mention that though this is very much so a dress watch on the strap, on the bracelet with the sapphire crystal and the 100 meters of water resistance, again, it works perfectly as a daily too, which adds a lot of versatility. Anyways, do like and sub if you enjoyed the video, and with that, never forget, time keeps ticking, so use the time you have wisely.